Welcome back to this exciting I Talk, You Listen talk in the Rusky Garage.
That's a good one!
Here we are. Only feels like it's been less than a week. It has been less than a week, has it? Yes, it's been less than a week, or maybe a little more. Let's not go into details. Last time when we spoke about those engines, before we go into any of these details, massive shout out to Pro Race Engineering. Ding ding, they delivered. They delivered on their promise, and we have the engine. And right there is the picture of new pistons, Darton sleeves, and we have a firing, which is a copper O-ring that goes around it, and it's supposed to help with clamping forces and whatever else. Everything else inside the motor is the same as for P, apart from the balls that hold the girdle. They are brand new. The full valve train is exactly the same, all the valves, pistons, because the head didn't really change. Obviously I had to take this off, so now it's all been torqued. I still need to torque some of these bolts. Also the thrust washer bearings, they were replaced. The mains are the same, because like I said, it had very low mileage. Yeah, so we're just assembling this, and in 3 days we're going to Nurburgring, and the engine is still here, and obviously, so this should go to 22 newtons. So the engine, I'm hoping the engine will be in maybe later today, maybe sometime tomorrow, and which means I'll have enough time for it to run and stuff. What I'm actually contemplating on doing is run it up to temperature first, and then take the cover off and everything, and attempt to retorque the head. I've done this before, obviously not after one heat cycle, and everywhere it says that you should really do it, especially if you're using ARP bolts, and it's 12, yes. Okay, so that's all good. Something else I wanted to address. A lot of people said, why are you using K-Series? Why? There's so many other engines that you can use. K-Series has been very unreliable. Some people say you need to find a reason why it keeps failing. And, you know, to address all of this, every failure was totally different. Completely separate failures. You know, the very first engine that exploded, the conrod snap, whatever, you know, it was just stock engine, too much torque. That's inevitable. The second one, you know, conrod bolt failure, you know, then we melted the piston, and this one, the liner cracked. So they are not related. So it's not like it's exactly the same scenario every time, and I keep doing exactly the same thing, and it keeps breaking. So I'm like, I'm not learning. We are learning, we are developing, and I strongly believe that all these numbers, internet numbers in America, whatever, 1,000 horse, they never run them at those. Or even if they do, it's literally on the drag strip, they don't do time attack. So running a car at time attack at 500 plus in the engine that was never meant to do that, it takes its toll. And I have to admit there might be some other inherited issues within whatever setup that I'm not aware of that is contributing to this. But I know a number of people who had similar failures, or failures of similar nature, or totally different with K-Series, whatever, you know. You don't need to go far. Michael Taylor, my nearest competitor, with another fastest Clio that he's building, literally the same thing happened after Donington, you know, with a cracked sleeve. So it's not just me. And I also know a few other people with similar issues that reached out to me after the last video, and they were asking like, what's your solution, what are you going to do, and whatnot. So Yes, K-series are renowned for their reliability, but when you start pushing them this far, you know, things do fail. Another thing was people like, oh, why don't you have another engine? What engine would you pick? I want to hear it from you. Go down into the comment section and write it, but be serious. Don't just say like a V8 or whatever. I want real solutions to this problem per se. One option that I was looking at is the VR6 Volkswagen engine, you know, the 15-degree 6-cylinder sort of whatever thing that they came in a Passat. I think Golfs had them, and it's a VR6 engine, 3.6 6-cylinder. I know on a stock block because it's a cast iron block, and you can run some mad power even on a stock block. Obviously, pistons, rods, and all that stuff. It is slightly bigger. It's obviously heavier, but they sound absolutely marvelous. Somebody suggested an EVA engine. Yeah, they can run crazy power, but they're not bulletproof as well, and they cost an absolute fortune to begin with. Whereas even the K20, I mean, I'm using K24, which is slightly cheaper. Even the K20 it is about what, 1,200, 1,300 pounds for a brand new engine? Not brand new engine, all brand new. With an EVA engine, I had a look. I think it's a 4G63. I might be confused right now. They start from 3.5, 4 grand just for bare engine, and then you need to put, you know, another 10, 15 to build them. So, and also the problem with the gearbox, you know, mine is already, you have the adapter plate and stuff, so I would have to redo all of that, the shafts, like completely everything would need to be changed. So, like, what else? Don't suggest a Vauxhall engine, because I know how reliable Luke Cape Horn's engines are. Seriously, go down to the comments. Let me know. What do you think? Yeah. Right. We need to keep assembling this. I believe I need to torque this. These are 12. The last 2 bolts. Also, as you can see, we have an upgraded chain tensioner, because the previous one failed. It was a OEM, and apparently they do fail on boosted K-series engines, which is bloody weird. Never failed before, and on this engine it did. But that wasn't the cause of everything else, we think. Definitely not. Anyways, upgraded one, courtesy of Tigiva. I can't even remember, what is it? It's not for piston, it's... I don't know what this is. Right, so we have everything here. So now let's apply some sealant. Another question that you guys wanted to know: time attack. Time attack. Why am I not doing a full season? What are my plans? Blah 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 blah. Why am I not doing a full season? I think I covered it before, but in case you haven't seen it, in one of the previous videos. One of them is cost. Cost of living crisis and all that stuff. Building race cars is not cheap. So you kind of sort of prioritize things. And also, because I was planning originally to do a few other events, like World Time Attack. It didn't happen this year, but obviously if it was happening, then I would have missed a good portion of the season, at least half of the season. So I decided not to enter full season, because doing them back to back does put extra toll on your sanity, on everything else. And also, I'm slightly fed up doing a class with 4-wheel drive cars. I mean, it's not Time Attack's fault, it's probably competitors' fault, just not enough Club Pro front-wheel drive cars. We used to have Spooner and the likes, but now he's not doing it, or hasn't done it for quite a while. There's always not enough cars to just separate it and have a front-wheel drive Club Pro class. And apart from me and Taylor, everyone else there, like this year, for example, Alexander Volkov in a 1000+ horse GTR, and then we have Dean Taylor in his Evo, I don't even know, 800, 900, whatever, sequential monster, good car, good driver. So, you know, it's kind of like, yes, I know, you're doing it for the fun, Rusky, you're doing it for this and that, but for fun, I can do single rounds, pick whatever rounds I want, and I'm not in a championship, meaning I am not eligible for a plastic AliExpress trophy. But yeah, I mean, last season we had live stream. Unfortunately, this season there is no live stream, and I know the reasoning. It's obviously it's cost. But it was a great tool to use with the sponsors. It was a great tool to use for later on to see, you know, how you did and whatnot. And sometimes your friends, family can't make it to the event, so they were obviously watching it on a live stream to see how you got on. So yeah, here we are. Those are the reasons why I'm not doing it. A mixture of them, really. I'm not over the time attack, obviously, because this car has been built for one purpose only, is qualifying. It would not last a race distance, because people did ask me, why don't you do like Thunders or something else? Well, because it's door-to-door. I know accidents will happen with door-to-door, and this car cost me way too much time, money, effort on everything to let it just be ruined by somebody who is a little bit too excited to get into the corner much faster. I mean, I had 2 accidents in time attack, and it's not even supposed to be sort of a contact, well, I want to say sport. I mean, obviously it's non-contact sport, but you know exactly what I mean. So yeah, it's only time attack for me, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, unfortunately. Right, I think we covered everything. Yeah, let's put this thing on. Do we have everything? Yes, we have everything. The very popular question. What's happening with your YouTube, Rusky? Why you're not doing videos? I am. See, I'm filming it right now. You get a little bit discouraged. It's like you make an effort doing a video. Like, for example, all the racing ones. Like, people ask me, why have you not done videos from 2025, the full race season? Because you are not interested. Some of you who are watching this, you'll be like, yes, we are. But out of 22,500 subscribers, that would be 500 people. You are one of them who is watching it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. The rest are not. They kind of, you know, they just choose what they want to watch. And my channel has always been quite a mix of things. Because obviously, you know, I do carbon fiber. And majority of people just want to watch carbon videos. So a racing stuff is not, it doesn't interest them in any shape or form. So when you get a little bit discouraged like that, you know, when it's, you know, you want to grow the channel and you want to do things, and it doesn't get the views, you kind of get a little bit, you know, fed up with doing all the work, providing content, this and that. And you probably say, well, if you made better content, people would watch it. Yes, yes, absolutely. It's all about the content. There's some channels who literally have 5-10 videos on their channels, and they have quadruple, if not more, amount of subscribers and all that stuff. Why? Because their content is good, it's relevant, it's interesting. Why mine is not like that? Well, that's just because I can't make videos like that. Unfortunate. Although I do have ideas, a lot of the time it just takes so bloody long time. So yeah, again, leave me in the comments. Would you like a little bit more regular updates, because that's the reason why I like doing these kind of videos. You know, I talk, you listen, and then because there's not much, I'm doing this anyways, there's not much editing involved, there's not much sort of creativity in this video. I'm just talking, you listening. So that's why it doesn't take much long time. You'll probably be seeing it exactly the same day, a couple of hours after I'm doing this, when I decide to go and take a little break. So let me know, would you like more creative videos? Carbon, racing, what would you like? Would you like me to buy another car and start building it? Because I have that Clio that I was doing. Nobody really was interested in that much. So yeah. Some people were also saying maybe your cooling is not adequate, and I would agree. I would agree. The old radiator has been on for quite a long time. It was the Darenza universal radiator that they don't currently produce, and I found this. This was not advertised as Darenza. This was advertised as Range Rover PD 130, whatever. But guess what it says? It says Darenza, and it's literally the same size. So it's a big core. It's a 50 mil. It's a single pass, meaning there is no sort of channel. So it goes from there to there, the whole thing. And I have to modify it, and I already modified it. So we have the N16 fittings. We have fittings for the oil cooler inside, and we have the thing here and there, and I'm actually modifying it even further. We're gonna put a fitting on this corner. This is the top corner. This is basically, this is, if you imagine, yeah. So from there, just to eliminate all the air, and that's gonna go into the swirl pot. Swirl pot. What is a swirl pot? Swirl pot is a swirl pot. We're gonna be making a brand new swirl pot. You can buy them. They are expensive. I can weld, right? So the swirl pot will sit here. So we have, obviously this is the outlet from the engine. It goes into a swirl pot, does all of that, helps all the gases sort of come out. I'm not going to make a separate video for this probably. There's no real need. And then from there it's going to go into the radiator. And then I'm going to reroute a few other lines, and hopefully this will be a much better cooling solution. All right, so this is the last bit, putting the sump on. Interestingly, on this particular engine, this is a K20 sump, and it's metal. This is not aluminium. I don't think we get them in the UK. Anyways, I think I'm gonna finish here. Nurburgring definitely needs some luck, and hopefully Misha will drive it this time. I am actually much happier with how the car handles now. So hopefully he will enjoy it. Let me know regards the noise limits. I have an option. I can run a time attack spec, which is a resonator, silencer, and a catalytic converter, which is what we have to run here. Or I can remove the catalytic converter and I can put a Bedford spec extra silencer with a downturn. I know it passes Bedford Autodrome, but the other setup actually passes all the other UK racetracks. So yeah, let me know. What would you think? Shall I play it safe and just put that Bedford thing? It's unsightly, that little downturn on the side. I don't like it, but means must. Anyways, guys, thank you very much. Today is Wednesday. You're probably watching it today. Wish me luck. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.